Have you ever felt too messy, too broken, or too unqualified to speak about Jesus? You're not alone, but guess what? That's exactly who God wants to use. So today, we're going to talk about it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Shieldmaidens podcast. This is a place where we hope you'll come to be raised up to be a warrior for Christ while also learning how to fight back against the enemy. And the whole time we really just want to point you to Jesus. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Riley.
We're your hosts and we're so glad that you're here again, listening in on another Tuesday or watching if you're on YouTube, which we hope you are. If you're on there, we'd love for you to subscribe if you're not already. That really helps us out. If you're listening on the audio versions, we'd love a review there. That also helps us out. Mm-hmm. And we'd love for you to follow along on our social media. We've got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
A lot of stuff happening there.
Lots of stuff happening there. All of our up-to-date things are on there. So we'd love for you to follow along there. We've got another great conversation planned.
Definitely.
Today. I feel like when Riley brought this topic up, I was like, oh, that's good. Like, I feel like I can totally relate to this. So as she mentioned in the very beginning, we're going to be talking about maybe feeling unqualified or too messy to really be used by God in the way that you feel like he's calling you. And we'll just see where the conversation goes. But I think it'll be great. We have two friends with us, though, today.
We did.
We have a two-timer repeat friend with us.
Welcome back.
And we have a first-timer. So we have Jocelyn and we have Leslie with us. Thank you guys for coming today.
Thanks for having us.
If you want, before we get started, just go ahead and you guys can introduce yourselves however you want, whatever you're comfortable with.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
My name's Jocelyn. I am in college at USI for nursing.
Oh, nursing.
Yep.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Freshly engaged, so doing all the wedding planning things.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
You've got a busy life. Then.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this is my first time actually meeting you.
Awesome singer.
That's what I was going to say. So I saw you at the Not Alone worship night the first time. I don't go to the hills. I'm like the outsider here.
We still love you.
I know. Thanks. And I asked Riley afterwards, I was like, who is that girl who sang that song? Because her voice is amazing.
All she has to say is, who's that girl? I know who she's talking about. It's Jocelyn.
Seriously, it was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
So please know, a stranger was like, I wasn't stalking you, but I'm like, who is that? Her voice was so beautiful. So
Thank you.
Yeah, don't discount yourself there. It's quite talented. So thanks for coming on, to talk to us.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, awesome.
You're
a second timer. You're a pro now.
Yeah, I'm a pro. My name's Leslie, and I am a nurse. And
I'm also a nurse, but I'm retired. So, yeah.
And I've been married to my husband Chris for almost 14 years, and we have two little girls, and we go to the hills, and we get to listen to Jocelyn lead worship every week, and it's incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna have you like record something just so I can.
You could just tune in on Facebook.
Or I could, yeah, you're right. I could do that too. Maybe I'll do that. More church is always good, no matter where it's coming from. So, well, thanks again, ladies, for coming and talking with us today. We really appreciate it. Do you want to share how this topic even came about? A little bit?
Sure. I'll throw her under the bus. That's fine.
Not to throw her under the bus.
No,
I don't mean that, but I feel like this is a really
It's really
common.
It's such a relatable topic. Yeah. So, like we said, Jocelyn is on the worship team, and my husband does the cameras. Mm-hmm. He helps with the cameras. He's not in charge of it, but he talked to Jocelyn one morning, and this is all third-hand information. So if it's wrong, forgive me.
It's probably
it's fine. You had approached him and said how much you like listening to our podcast, and he told me, and of course, my response was like, "Well, just let her know she can come on whenever she wants." And he relayed the information, and then I was told that Miss Jocelyn said, well, I don't think I'm qualified to do that.
Yeah, I said, no, you do not want me on there.
So when that happens, you tell
so
Riley that.
Immediately, that response was like, well, let's talk about that.
I know.
So
Yeah,
sorry, and thank
what
you.
Say to Riley.
I'll say yes. That's what I was going to say. If you tell Riley, oh, I'm not qualified, she's going to be like, you're coming on.
Let me get the one who says they're unqualified to come and talk. Yeah. Perfect.
That's right. Well, guess what? This is our 55th episode, I think, and I still feel unqualified to do this. So
we're in the
welcome
same
to the team.
Every single time we record, still, there are things that have gotten easier,
Mhm.
of course, but it's still the same. Still feel unqualified. There's a lot of things I feel unqualified for that I feel like God has asked me to do. So you're not alone in that. But we thought that would be a great topic just to kind of dive into because, again, you're not alone. There are a lot of people who feel that way. No matter how long you've been walking with the Lord, like I feel like it's really easy to maybe settle into things and not want to do anything different or
Yeah.
get outside of your comfort zone because we all like to be in our little comfort bubbles. Or I do. So it's easy to stay in that, even if you know God's asking you to do something else. So thanks for coming to talk with us.
Of course.
Being brave today. I don't know. Do you have somewhere you want to start? Like just
Yeah, just has God ever asked you to do something that you were unqualified to do?
like that you maybe were actually unqualified to do, like a
Yeah.
podcast.
Honestly, I feel like everything that God has asked me to do, I
Yes.
have felt completely unqualified
He's
for.
really good at that, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And while I was thinking about that question, I was just remembering examples of times and I was like, there's no way that that's really what you're asking me to do. Like for me, public speaking is like top 5 scariest things. I legitimately avoided the basic public speaking class in college, like picked a major based on how I could avoid that class. And,
Oh, that's precious.
and it seems like the times that I have really felt like and known that it was God asking me to do something, it's been speaking or leading in some sort of capacity. And just the fact that in all of the cases where I was leading anything, I knew I was going to be in front of people. And I was like, how in the world are you asking me to do this thing that I know I'm so fearful of? And it's my biggest weakness, I feel like. And so it's just interesting to see all of the times that he has asked me to do the specific thing that I feel like is, most scary for me.
I relate to that in a lot of ways. I also agree that being up on a stage talking is one of my biggest fears. So
But singing is different.
you're on a stage.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I actually started like leading worship when I was like 14, just for like my little youth group. So 5 years, almost 6, like doing it, it's gotten a lot easier as anything does with time. But then I used to like conquering that fear of being up on stage in front of people because slowly like the people in front of me, like numbers grew, like especially with like where I've gone, like the hills even in itself has grown so fast. So even that number everything's just grown. So it's gotten easier. But then I feel like I got comfortable with singing and that's what I could do. And I felt comfortable in that. And then all of a sudden Ryan was like, now, okay, open up a song, like start talking. And I'm like, talking? I was like,
No, we don't do that.
I can sing, but you asked me to talk and I'm a nervous wreck. Like I would like be behind stage, like shaking. And I'm like, just go talk, just go talk. So I'd go out and I would just like, I always do like fine. Like I don't get tongue tied or like have troubles talking. I just feel like shaky and like so I just hate talking. I even like this like last year in college there was an option to take a public speaking or like another class. Well, I took the other class because I did not want to talk. So I hate talking. It's one of my worst fears.
I've also always been surprised, well, maybe not surprised, but just like so grateful for the like goodness that God shows me in each of those situations. Whenever I have stepped into whatever he's asking and just been surprised, probably is the right word, surprised that he is able to use me in that, even though I feel like I cannot do it. Like my husband and I led a marriage, it's called Grace Marriage at the Hills. And it was like out of nowhere that was asked of us. And it wasn't something he and I, neither of us had ever led anything. And so we were like, oh, no, absolutely not. Like, we can't do that. But we both felt like God was asking us to. And so I just remember just being so terrified and then doing it and seeing what beautiful things came out of it. And I was like, whenever you just step back and get out of the way and just trust that he's going to do what he's going to do, it's incredible to see what he can do whenever you just say yes. So
Love that.
So true.
What about you? Put you on the
Have I ever been unqualified to do something, everything?
Yeah.
I think that what came to mind most was you were talking about fear. We both were talking about fear of public speaking, which is funny, but God knows obviously what our strengths are because he gave them to us and he knows what he's called us to do. But so does our enemy. Fear is not from God. And so I've learned over time that whenever I smell fear, whenever I start to know that, you know, this feels uncomfortable, this feels like I'm unqualified, those are the things I should run to, which kind of makes me a crazy person. But at the same time, I mean, he's trying to make me afraid because he's trying to avoid whatever God wants to do through it.
Right.
Whether I feel qualified or not, whether I am qualified or not, most of the time I'm not. But even like this, I mean, our podcast, God gave the instruction to me first, and then I had to get her on board.
Yeah, I didn't get that instruction. I didn't. I'm not going to lie.
And so, well, I mean, he
until I
worked
prayed
it
about it, but-
through me first and was like, she's going to be afraid of it. So you're just going to have to be confident. Well, okay, well, and that's what we did. That's how it started.
Yeah, for sure. I'm the same. I mean,
But there
I
are
feel
lots
like,
of things I'm not qualified.
yeah, I mean, I feel like almost everything, literally everything that God asks me to do, whether it's little or big, because I've always been kind of a just want to fit in people pleaser sort of person. And God has big time the last couple of years been calling me out of that. Because we're not supposed to look like the world. And it's hard if that's sort of your natural bent to begin with. And then he calls you into things, you know, and I would never have like maybe called myself fearful or insecure, but like,
Sure.
pretty insecure if it comes down to it, like actually stepping outside of something, especially something that I feel like this is not my natural skill or bend. Like I love to talk with people in real life. In front of a camera is a different story.
Right.
Putting it out in front of people on a video, like totally different story. That is not my comfort zone at all. If I could just do it in the quiet moments where we're in your house having coffee or whatever, that's totally different. So the podcast, honestly, is still a year in. Is still a stretch for me to walk in obedience to it. But everything, like quitting my job as a nurse to do art, people think you're crazy. Giving up part of my art business, which was jewelry, which was my moneymaker, to not do that anymore when God asked me to. So yeah, there's lots of things that I'm not qualified for. Even I don't even know that I didn't think about this until now. We've talked about this a little bit. I have moments frequently now where God will ask me to pray for someone in person, strangers. Not my comfort zone, like never has been. Like at Target, like, oh, go pray for that cashier. No, that's weird. Not going to do that. And there have been more times than not where I've said, no, I'm not doing it. And God gives us that choice, to be honest. But I always regret it and think, okay, God, give me another chance. Because what if that person was asking God for something, you know, and he was just going to use me as a tool to speak to them or what encourage them or whatever. And then I didn't do it. So, yeah, there's a lot, most things that God asks me to do, I do not feel qualified to do in any way.
So along those same lines, like, do you ever feel that you don't know enough about God or maybe a situation or have the right words to say or enough confidence in him that he's going to show up that you don't step up or step into what he's asking you to do?
I feel like usually that's my biggest fear is like not having enough knowledge or
Yeah.
not knowing enough. Like I'm no scholar. I'm no,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know every story in the Bible. I can't recite things off the top of my head ever. Like I'm just not like that. And then I meet people like that and I'm like, oh, that person can be used by God, or oh, that's the person that God would want to use, not me. So I feel like that's always the thing that scares me is, so you don't know enough. Like let somebody who actually knows what they're talking about actually say something. That's always the thought that crosses my mind, which is so discouraging. But I mean,
You know
But
where
it's
that thought
real.
comes from, right?
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, I'm like,
Yeah.
no, that thought is not from God. is the
100%.
thing,
And I
but-
know it's not. And for some reason, that's always the thought that I tend to listen to.
Yeah.
Which I
Well,
shouldn't.
it's really easy.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely the one that I fall into the most is you don't know enough. You're not the person who should say something about it. So
I think I've faced that even like in our classes at church, like leading a rooted table, or right now, the story of God, just like being afraid that I don't have the knowledge to be able to speak whenever people have questions. That's always a worry for me. But I think even more than that, something that I've always been afraid of in any of those situations is just something that I have to say not lining up with God and being the reason that somebody chooses to walk away.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking to a good friend before we led Grace Marriage and was talking to them about that concern specifically. And they were like, that's thinking kind of little of God, because to think that you have the power to derail his whole plan by something that you're going to say. Like, don't you think that he can work through you? And I was like, oh, yeah. He's got so much more power in this situation than I ever could. So I feel like that's kind of just changed my perspective when speaking in those situations. Just obviously being in prayer before and just being like, God, I don't have all the right things to say. So use me however you can use me, and just having the faith that he's going to do that and that I'm not going to screw up his plan. So.
And every time, like, I think back to, like, those situations where I'm like, oh, you don't know enough. Like, I think if I compare, like, somebody who I think has all the right things to say, or, like, I don't know, like, the best preacher in the world versus, like, if somebody were to come up to me and say something, I think I would take that, like, authenticity over perfection of, like, everything being perfect. Like, I think I always think back and I'm like, dang, I should have just said something. Or, like, when I see that somebody is a real person and they're not perfect, I think I value that more than all the perfect words anyways. But in the moment, I think, no, they want the perfect, like, words that they need,
Yeah.
So,
And it's really not the truth, because you're right. People value genuine care, concern, authenticity. And when we don't know something, it's perfectly fine to say, I don't know. Let's figure this out together. Or, that's a great learning tool, usually for multiple people, like to learn what you need to know. But yeah, the enemy will twist that for sure to make you think, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to push someone away and lead them astray.
Right.
I've struggled with the same thing. So
I saw a video on YouTube of a preacher. He was preaching. I'm going to get this story wrong because it's been a while, but he was in Africa, and I think he was either on a mission trip or like an extended period of time. He was there, and he was talking about he was there for New Year's Eve, and as he was going to bed one night, he really felt like the Holy Spirit was telling him, "I want you to go to the hospital and I want you to pray for everyone there, and I'm going to heal him. I don't want anyone to start the new year sick." And he was just like, "That's a little weird, God. I don't think so. No, thanks." And he went to bed. Next morning, he woke up and he was super regretful. He's like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't trust you. Like, I didn't want to go and you not show up. And I look like a crazy person," which is my argument, a lot of times when I don't pray for people. So he goes to the hospital and he walks up to the nurse at the little check-in station and was like, "Hey, I'm a pastor and I'm here to pray for everyone." And she looks at him and goes, "There's no one here." He goes, "What? What do you mean there's no one here?" He goes, and she's like, "Well, I don't know what happened last night. I guess Jesus showed up because everybody just started getting better and we let them all go." And he went home and he was crying and he's like, "I'm so sorry. I missed out on that." And he said that he heard the Holy Spirit speak to him and say, "I can do it without you, but And I did, but no one knew why they were healed. Everyone received healing, but no one heard the gospel. No one heard the love of Christ. And that really humbled me when I heard that. Like, I know he can do it without me. It's actually not me that's doing anything, but for me to be the mirror of Christ and reflecting him in the moment when God chooses to do his work is what he actually needs us for.
Right.
We're actually not qualified to do anything. He's qualified to do it.
Right.
He just needs us to say, yeah, it was him who did it.
Wow.
So that's super humbling.
Yeah.
That's very humbling, very convicting.
You know, I think about that story a lot.
I'm gonna start thinking about
Right.
it.
Right.
I won't forget that story.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Ooh.
crazy. So
Yeah.
how
Because
do
he
we?
wants to do things with us too.
Yeah, he does.
Like,
How cool is that?
and the thing is, it builds your faith, like you said, as you realize, like, oh, God's done so many cool things out of my small step of obedience, like leading a class or whatever. People come tell you little stories, like whatever. With the podcast, we have this happen all the time. You get messages about just little things that really, touched someone, or you see something happen and conversations that have happened. And you have no idea that any of that was happening behind the scenes, or that God was working in that way. That wasn't even your intention. And then when you get to see those things, like, that's really cool. But then when you miss out, it's really, because I mean, I haven't had that dramatic of a thing by any means, but I have told God no, like I said, and it's embarrassing. Like, I'm a disobedient toddler, but it's hard when you have that regret, like knowing, I know he was asking me and I didn't do it. Because he wants to do it with us.
He does.
Because it's good for us too.
Right. He doesn't need to use
He
us
doesn't
for
need
his plan,
to, but
he wants to.
Yeah. Because, like I said, you get to see the fruit. And then, like, like this healing example, all of those people were healed. They didn't get to know why. But yeah, like, he'll bless us for our obedience if we do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how do we go about overcoming those feelings of inadequacy, or like we don't know enough? Any advice?
any
Because I would like some
answers?
tips. Still working on it.
Yeah. I was going to say, I feel like
100%.
just doing something.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really small, and we make it a bigger deal in our heads than it actually is. And then you just do it, which takes a lot of, I guess just the decision to do it, like whatever. And I do feel like some things can get easier the more you obey, the more you just take that step. But I don't know. And I will also say, and with this, the closer I get to God, the more I do know his word, the more time I spend with him, the more time in prayer, the more time I surround myself with community that is also trying to just be obedient and walk in what he's called me to walk in. I'm not going to say it's easier, but if you have that support, and the more you know God's heart, knowing, like, when I don't do it, I'm really questioning him. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to pray for someone because I'm afraid God's not going to show up and do what I expect him to do.
Right.
And I don't want to feel weird. Like, there's also that, but like, be the weirdo in Target. But I can get over that.
I don't think you'd be the weirdest person there.
I'm probably
if you prayed
not
for someone.
Probably not. But that's awkward. Like, in our culture, there are people who do it, but it's not the norm. But really, what it's come down to for me is I think that God's not going to show up for me. Why would he ask me to do it then? Like, who cares? The response to what happens is not up to me.
Right.
That's true.
That's hard, though, whenever you're the one having to do something, it feels like it depends on you.
It does. Yeah.
But I even think that, like, the more I think about it, whenever I was, preparing for this conversation today, it was just thinking about the fact that why does he always ask me to do things that I feel weak in and not the strengths that he's given me? But if he was asking somebody that was strong in that area, they might not point back to him.
Yep.
But because he's showing his power through my weakness, then it can only be God.
Yeah.
It can only be God. And so I just think that that's given me a little bit of peace each time he's asked me to do something that I felt uncomfortable with. Like, I've seen him show up the first time. I've seen him show up the second time. And all the glory has to go to him, because there's no way I could have done any of those things, not stand up there and talk in front of anyone. And just to be able to be a part of anything that he's doing, like I'm all like, I want to do that. And so if that means that I'm going to stand up there and be terrified, but he's going to work through me, then that's what I'll do. But I don't think it gets easier. I think it might get easier to say yes. It doesn't get easier to do the hard thing though.
Yeah.
So
My like motto this year has been, you don't grow inside your comfort zone, because I like my comfort zone a lot. And so I started an internship at the church last August, and that was really pushing for me. I had to do a lot of things I didn't know how to do. I didn't feel comfortable doing, but I learned that the more I did it, the easier it got. So like my comfort zone was here, and it grows and it grows and it grows. The more that I walk outside of it and explore what's outside my comfort zone, well then soon enough that becomes my comfort zone, and then this will become my comfort zone, like becoming more comfortable in more things basically. But just saying yes to more things, because I feel like another thing that I like struggle with is like my age. I'm like, oh, you're not old enough. You don't.
Young.
Yes, which also I think goes along with the knowledge. Like you don't have the experience or the years behind anything. So
really good verse about that.
So what would you know? Don't let anybody look down upon you because you're young. And I feel like I know the scripture, but why isn't it
in your heart?
Yes. And don't let anyone look down on you because you're young. I feel like I wouldn't let others look down on me because I'm young, but why do I look down on myself because I'm young? It says anyone, that includes me. Why do I look down on myself because I'm young? So that's been another thing that I struggle with, but learning to say yes to more things. Like I spoke at the Her conference, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but I was on stage and I had to talk.
You did such a great job.
Thanks. But
her perspective was incredible, and it was so perfect that she was up there.
Thanks, because I was freaking out. But I feel like I've just said yes to more things this year and pushing myself to do it, because I feel like I can know what God has to say about it, but I feel like if I know what he has to say about it, but I haven't experienced it, then like somehow I just don't believe it. So knowing what he has to say and then experiencing it, like going on stage and feeling completely just like a wreck. I go up there and all of a sudden like my nerves go away, and I was just like, yes. And that's exactly what happened. And I was like, so this is what that is, like living proof of that. So like experiencing it for myself has done wonders. So
rather than just hearing it from other people's perspective, getting to feel him work through you.
Yes, because I feel like there's all like the churchy answers that everyone will say, and it's like, yeah, I know, but until you experience it, it's like it's different. So
that's Riley's favorite verse, the one about not knowing what words you're going to say, and then when the time comes, the Holy Spirit will speak through you. I butchered it. I don't have it memorized.
You got the message. Good job.
It's Matthew 10, 19, and 20.
That's right. Good job.
But I don't. I know the address. I don't know. I don't know the exact words on that one. But but it is the truth.
It is, and I would say that in addition to all of that, personally, what I have to tell myself quite often is watch your mouth, because. And I don't mean like necessarily what I say to other people. I mean what I say to myself. The things that I speak over myself. If I tell myself that I'm inadequate, that's what I'll become.
Yeah.
If I tell myself I'm not qualified, guess what? I'll start to believe, and I'll start to feel, and I'll give the foothold for the devil to do what he does best. But even if it's not things that I believe like innately about myself, if I read scripture over my situation, if I pray over my situation, even if I say, well, he says I'm the daughter of the king, he says this about me, he says I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, even if I don't believe it at my core, I'm working on that.
Yet.
speaking those words over your life has so much power.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. Like what you
Yes.
speak out loud, your
Yes.
heart and your brain hear it. It's just a big cycle. Like your heart and your brain and your mouth. Like it's just in and out and in and out. It's just
That's right.
Power of life and death is in the tongue.
Yeah,
like there's a
it
reason
is.
that the word says that. And we've talked about this a lot. We just don't even realize that we come into agreement with the lies of the enemy when
Yep.
we say, oh, I'm inadequate. That's not from God.
Right.
Yeah.
If God asks you to do something, even if in the natural we are ill-equipped to begin with, it's never about us to begin with. If
Right, that's
God's
why he
asking
asked
us
us.
to do it, he will empower us.
Right.
You know, he says, my grace is sufficient for you. For my power is made perfect in your weakness.
And if in any situation I'm being asked to do something I'm afraid of, if I start with, well, I feel like, then I have to stop myself because God created our emotions, but the feelings in our heart is deceitful. It's a liar. And it doesn't matter what I feel. What does God say? What is the truth? What is the foundation for which I'm supposed to live upon instead of just, my feelings that come and go and run the ship into icebergs?
Yeah. And it's really easy to just get wrapped in that and not even know you're doing it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I feel like I'm really just coming into the full understanding of this in the last even 6 months. Like really understanding that my thoughts, but especially my words over myself, little flippant things that I say or, and our thoughts lead to our words, of course, like repetitive patterns, like you said, but just realizing like how much power we can give to the enemy by agreeing with him instead of agreeing with God. And I had an experience with God one night crying about something, and he told me, I mean, through his, not out audibly, but said like, you are agreeing, like I've already done this work in you. You're agreeing with the enemy instead of me, your loving father who made you, wants you, like he's speaking lies over you and you're agreeing with it. And I was like, whoa, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I think that's why it's so intimidating to speak about Jesus to people, just because our words do have power.
Yeah.
And again, the enemy will twist that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, God is bigger than all of that and sovereign, and he has so much grace for us and mercy that even when we mess up, because we will, and we may speak something that we don't even know, could hurt someone or makes them question something, like God uses all things
Right.
for our good and for his glory.
Right.
All things. So don't, it's easy for me to say right now, don't let that be a deterrent to talking about Jesus and sharing about your faith. But truly, like we shouldn't let that be a deterrent because God can still work that out for good. Yeah. Sorry, I was real wordy for a while there.
I like it.
I don't. Trying not to interrupt and be wordy, and here I am.
I don't know who told you that, but it's fine.
It's okay.
Anyway.
It is okay if it is actually the truth, and I can learn how to like listen better sometimes. Listen more. Okay.
I love you just the way you are.
Thank
Lindsay.
you. Okay, we're having a session right here on camera. Anyway, let's move
Unqualified.
on for that. Yes. Did everyone say what they wanted to say? Since I feel like I interrupted on that. We were talking about
Overcoming your feelings.
Yeah, the insecurities or the fears. Specifically, maybe about talking. I mean, I know we've talked about, stepping out and doing something in obedience, but talking to someone about your faith is a whole kind of a whole other thing. I mean, there's obedience required in that, but.
Well, I shared this story with Riley. It's been almost 2 years ago now. I went to a conference in Texas with some friends, and it was the If Gathering. And I guess like the way that Jenny Allen explained it, at the end was that she does this at every conference. She hands out like a little trinket to every single person that's in there, and then has them like pray about what has God been speaking to you throughout the conference. Like what words has been have you been hearing over and over that you feel like God is speaking to you? And then so the little trinkets come down, and it's a little flashlight, and then they send permanent markers down the row to write whatever it is on the trinket so that it can be something that you can hold on to and remind you of what it was. And so it made no sense to me then, and I'm still trying to make sense of it now, but I was hearing clear as day, like him saying, tell them. And I'm like, here again with the speaking or whatever it is that you're asking, but tell them. And so I feel like that what that has, although I'm still praying about that, still trying to figure out what does that exactly look like that he's asking of me with that. Every time I've been in a situation since then where I've been asked to speak on anything, to come on the podcast the first time, to come today, to speak at the, just for a few minutes at the women's fall party recently, like any of those opportunities, I have just a little more boldness to say yes, because I know that's what God was saying, was tell them. And maybe he's meaning tell them in a big way. Maybe he's meaning tell each person that I interact with, but just the small amount of boldness from hearing from him to say, tell them. And so just trying to walk in obedience in that. So this topic specifically was, I mean, it just kind of made sense whenever she mentioned it, just because I feel like that's what God's asking of me specifically right now, is to be bold and to share in any way that I can. And so I don't know what that looks like from his perspective. But my goal, I guess, or what I'm praying on and trying to do more of, is to be bold in my faith and just be able to share in any situation. So
I love that. That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that.
yeah, you're welcome.
My goal is to be bold too, and I'm trying to do it on camera.
I hope that's not what he's asking me, is to do it on camera
doing right now.
Well, this is the second time you've come on here. No, I'm teasing, but yeah. Do you have anything else on that? I know you already shared a little bit on that, but yeah, sharing, I feel like sharing your faith, or, speaking about that, it's hard. And I do think we really have to be led by the Spirit in that.
Yeah. Glenn, if he asks you to do something, no matter how hard it is, he's already there.
Yes.
He's not going to leave you high and dry.
Right.
He's not going to say, go do this and I'll meet you at the end.
And
No, he's already there.
Yes, that's what it comes down to, is trusting him, loving him enough to obey. And also I've started, because I have told God no so many times recently, in things that are actually really small, but I'm like, nope, I'm not going to go pray for them. They probably wouldn't have been small if I would have actually done it. Could have been whatever, could have affected someone's life. But I want God to fill my heart with so much love for those people that I don't care what they think in the moment, Yeah. And so much love for him that I just want to do what he asks, regardless of what people around me think. So that's kind of been my new prayer, fill me with so much compassion and love for people that it doesn't matter. I'm not concerned at all about people thinking I'm weird. I'm just going to do what he's asking, because it could change their life or mine or whatever. I'm not concerned with the outcome is not mine. The obedience is mine to do, or speak.
Yeah. On the way here, I was having a conversation with Sydney, who was on with me before. And she was just having a conversation today with someone about feeling weird and sharing her faith. And she just doesn't want to be, or she said, how do you get past that? How do you get past the feeling of being afraid that people are just going to think you're the crazy Christian person that is trying to talk to them? And her friend, what she said back to her was, I'm less worried about, what they're going to think of me. I don't want to miss an opportunity. And she was like, oh, that's good. That is good.
It's a
Like,
good perspective.
I don't want to miss an opportunity. And I don't want to get in my own way.
Yep.
Of and end up missing an opportunity where God's asking me to move. So
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. And those opportunities are absolutely everywhere. Like literally just last night, I was, busy as moms are.
Yes.
And I had, I think, 14 things in my hands walking upstairs. And my 6-year-old was in her bed, supposed to be asleep, but she wasn't asleep. And she saw me walk by, and I could just hear her little tiny voice, "Mommy, I feel like I'm going to have a bad dream." And I could have just said, "Oh, you'll be fine," and walked downstairs. But I took a step and I thought, nope, we got to fight this one right now. And so I put everything down that I was carrying on the floor and walked into her bedroom, and I grabbed her hands and I said, "Why do you think that way?" And she goes, "I don't know. I'm just afraid." I said, "Okay, well, that's not from Jesus, so we need to pray." And we prayed for 2 minutes, and she repeated, things I was saying. And then she was fine the rest of the night. But I just felt so convicted that even in those little moments with your family,
right.
that if you hear something that's just, not true, just those little things that would speak death into your life, essentially, nope, we got to fight them immediately. And that's hard to do.
Yeah.
When you're busy and carrying all the things and have things to do and want to go to sleep yourself.
Yeah.
But it's important.
That's something that we haven't talked about, but I know you don't have children yet. But the rest of us do. And we get to be an example for our kids
Or siblings.
or siblings.
That's a big one that I'm
or the
facing right
youth
now.
at
Yes.
church.
Yep.
Or youth at church or
Like
any-
my kid.
yeah. Or anyone in your life that you're around regularly that doesn't go out and share their faith or is not used to that or, or whatever, like you taking those little steps, like my kids seeing, like our church has started. They've always had a prayer team up front during worship. You can go get prayer, but several months, it's probably been, I don't know how long, a long time now, actually. They have started during worship. Hey, go find someone to pray with. You don't have to go up to the worship team. Go to someone around you that you do know or don't know. Specifically, he's usually like, find someone you don't know, go introduce yourself, ask them how you can pray for them. That's what we're called to do as the church. And so it's really been really good for me just to like practice. That sounds weird, but
In
really
a more safe environment. if that
in a
makes any sense.
safer
Yeah.
environment. Yes. Just to go up to someone and say like, hey, my name's Lindsay. Like, how can I pray for you guys this week? And it's been so beautiful, but like generally, like my husband and kids like don't move. And then they like look at me to go do it, and I'm always like, let's go find someone. They're like ducks following me, down the aisle to go find someone to pray with. But I just think it's so important, especially for our kids, like to see those everyday little moments. You've mentioned multiple times to me, at least personally, how your grandmother taught you to pray away the fear at night. And you just did that with your daughter. Like, how cool to see that. The generational things too, or people just around you in your life. Like there's always ripple effects to us being obedient or to sharing our faith, like when God asks us to.
Always.
Yeah. Do you guys, last thing I did want to ask, do you guys have any advice for, say you were on the phone with a friend or someone watching that comes across this? What would you tell them if they are really struggling with, feeling insecure, unqualified, they don't know how to share their faith, they feel like they're going to say the wrong thing? Like, do you have any practical advice for them?
You're not alone.
Yeah.
Really, or encouragement.
You're not alone. Like, you look back in the Bible and there's Moses and
Yeah.
Jeremiah. I mean, Jeremiah
Yes.
said, "I'm too young and I can't talk." Moses
Yes.
said, I can't speak. And God said, "I'll be with you and go do these things. Like, I will be with you. I will give you the tools. I will provide everything that you need to do these things." So, I mean, like, even looking back at those things, even like just this week, like as I was preparing for this was so encouraging. Because I mean, like growing up, like I've heard the stories. I know, okay, Moses was the one who couldn't talk and God was with him and all these things. But like looking back at it, it was so encouraging for me. Like, I was looking back at the story of Jeremiah and I was so encouraged. I was like, I feel like Jeremiah. I'm too young and I can't talk. That's what I tell myself. Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling myself those things, first off. But second off, Jesus is like, well, I will be with you. Like, you don't have to be afraid. I'll give you everything you need. And looking back at my life, every step I've been given everything that I need. I've been given the people, the tools, the resources. Like, who's to say God's going to leave me again, like alone? He's not going to. He never will. So it's just like looking back and being a testimony for other people as well is so amazing. Like, I think just sharing your own experience is so good with other people. So
absolutely. Just that authenticity in general. Like I've seen God show up in this way. Yeah.
I was going to say very similar to what she said. For one, to pray about that insecurity, about where's that coming from. But I also had written down just all of the times in the Bible where he used people that were unqualified.
None of them were qualified. Actually,
right.
ever.
Every single. I mean, you read any of the stories and see what he was able to do through the people in the Bible. I mean, a virgin mother of Jesus and Moses, like you said, and I mean David, the weakest of all the brothers, and he's the one that slayed the giant. Like, there's not one story that you're going to find where he used the most perfect, polished person to do anything. Because, again, his strength is made perfect in our weakness. So why wouldn't he use the ones that are willing to do it in their weakness? So I just think, like, just going back and seeing how he's done it before in the stories in the Bible and praying about it. And like you said earlier about community, just surrounding yourself with people that make you more bold. I think just being around people that I can see their example, and then it makes me more bold in that way. So
absolutely.
I think those are important things. That's what I would say to a friend, I guess.
I think another thing is do it afraid.
Yeah.
Do it anyways.
Just do it anyway.
I mean, I think I was like thinking about like that. I always see like car stickers where it's like faith over fear. It doesn't say faith without fear. It's over fear.
Over fear.
Yeah. You can still do it afraid. You can still do it even though you're scared. You just have to have faith that conquers that fear, that is over that fear. Yeah. You can still do it afraid.
Yeah, you can believe and be scared.
Yes. That's me.
Me too, sister.
Do it afraid.
Your fear doesn't mean that you don't believe.
Right.
It doesn't disqualify any of that. It means you're human and you need to lean into him.
Yeah.
I would say it's a very churchy answer, but abide by the more time that you spend in the Word and with Him, the more you get to know Him, and the more you just trust Him.
Trust His heart. Yep.
And you know His voice, and you know when it's Him versus your own voice that tells you not good things.
I know my voice would never ask me to speak in front of people.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Yep.
It's very, very true. But the more time that you spend with Him, the more you're going to know what His direction looks like and trust that He's going to be there when He calls you to something big.
And truly, like, the mark of a follower of Christ is our surrender. Love for people and God, and our surrender. Like, that's ultimately what Jesus did, was surrender His will to the Father's. We are called to do the same, even when I don't really want to, even when it's not comfortable. But again, when you know you can trust Him and you know that Jesus has been through, it says He can, this is also butchering it, but basically that He relates to every thing that we've ever had to endure. Like any sort of any pain, abuse, ridicule, insecurities. Like, I'm sure He had insecurities. He was human, but He was perfectly obedient.
Right.
So we don't have to be perfectly obedient. We're not going to be, but I was going to read this just a little bit because I'm reading through Isaiah right now with some friends, and we're in chapters like 40 and 41. And I was reading this morning and I was like, it says, fear not 3 times in 3 verses in a row. And I'm like, I got to mark this because I'm going to read this today for this one. But this is Isaiah chapter 41. And it's exactly what you were saying. This is verse 10. Fear not, for I am with you. Don't be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. That's verse 10. Verse 13. Okay, so 4 verses. Verse 13. For I, the Lord your God, will hold your right hand, saying to you, fear not, I will help you. Verse 14. Fear not, you men of Israel, I will help you, says the Lord, and your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Like that's 3 times right in a row. Like, and I know it says it over and over all throughout the Bible, but I think there's a reason it probably says it over and over throughout the Bible, because God knows our tendencies to be insecure, be fearful, and talk ourselves out of things. But, you know, again, the closer you get to him, you know his heart, you know he's going to be with you. He's going to walk with you. He's not going to leave us. He'll strengthen us.
When you write those words on your heart and in your life, and even if you have to actually like physically write them and stick them
put them
everywhere,
on
I've
your
done that
mirror.
before.
Yeah.
Then those are the things that he brings to mind when you encounter situations. Like, I don't know that I've ever had a fear of public speaking, but I don't love it. But like you were referencing my favorite verse earlier, it actually says,
I do. I like
No, you're
totally
fine.
butchered it.
says, do not be afraid for what to say or how to say it, for at that time it will not be you speaking, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. And I have just lived on those verses like, okay, well, if you're going to bring me to it, you got to do the speaking, because it's not going to make sense if it comes out of my own mouth. And he does. He shows up.
Yeah.
Another practical thing I thought of that I started in college, I'm not a journaler by any means. Like, I don't do that every day. It's not something I really love to do, but I did start a journal for answered prayers, and even like the smallest, tiniest answered prayers, even if it was, just a little God wink during the day, I just write them down, 1 or 2 sentences, because I realized that in times where I was praying or needing like big answers, I would forget all the little ones he's already given me. And so to be able to go back, and they were dated, and I could look and read and see, oh yeah, he does come through. Oh yeah, he does think of me. He does care about the details. Then it would give me just a little bit more faith to keep pushing.
Yeah, that's good. That's a really good practical tip too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, write those down. Date
Yeah,
them.
100%.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, ladies. You guys have anything else you want to share on any of that? I think, like you said, the more you just step out and just do it. Do it when you're afraid. Take a friend with you. Like, if it's something, have that support.
Yeah, take a friend with you.
Take a friend with you.
Make a friend. Start a podcast with you.
And we've done that even within like praying for a couple of people. Like, I'm like, can you God told me to pray for this person. Will you come with me? We've done that.
Yep.
It's just easier to have. We're a body. We're supposed to do things together and strengthen each other too. So
Right.
that's another thing. Maybe if it's something you can have someone with you to support you, I think that's helpful. So doing it in a group or with a friend.
Yes. Well, thank you, ladies, for
Thank you,
sharing what's on your
guys.
heart.
Yeah, I think this is going to be super relatable for a lot of people. And it's I think for young people, but also
Oh, I think it's for everyone.
every age, because I know several women who are older than me, like even my mom's age, sort of, and they're like, "Oh, I'm too I don't know enough. I'm too old. I'm too blah blah blah." No, like God
He
will
needs you too.
God will use any willing vessel.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful if you say, "Here I am, send me," because He will.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Definitely.
okay. Thanks, ladies. You
conversation.
guys were great.
Thank you.
I hope you know that.
And thank you guys for tuning in today. We hope that you enjoyed this conversation. If you'd like to add to the conversation, you can do so in the comment section below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And we'd also love to pray with you. If you have feelings of being unqualified or inadequate, we will not agree with that with you. We'll actually pray with that, or pray with you for those things. So send us a message if you need some extra prayer. We'd love to do that. On your way out, make sure to give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. And until next time, grab a shield. We'll see you out there.
See you guys.